Welcome to DML Discovery Metal Legion. Today it is the best black and death metal albums of June and July. Didn't do a best black and death metal albums video in June, so we're gonna rectify the situation and give you the best June and July black and death metal albums. A really good few months for black metal and good month for death metal as well. There are a few death metal albums on this list. We're going to mainly focus on black metal, since black metal is my favorite genre. There weren't many death metal albums I talked to you about over the past 2 months. Before I start, pop your favorite black and death metal albums down below. So we're going to talk about 15 albums, 15 black and death metal albums on this list. So coming up first is a Brazilian death metal band, Rising Curse, and the album Years in the Darkness. This is a really good LP overall. This Brazilian death metal band really harness in the strong, energetic feel. I love how finely calibrated this album is, not to mention the aggressive turns on Years in the Darkness. Pummeling drums, pummeling guitar as well, and the vocals are very guttural in tone. Hard-hitting songs as well, like As Above, So Below is fantastic, Surrounded by Venomous Animals, the friggin' crushing breakdowns. Behind the Sun, amazing, and Say Goodbye is a great way to end off the album. Really good stuff by Rising Curse. I think this is the debut album or something, and I thought this was a very good album. Coming in number 14 is a Finnish black metal band, atmospheric melodic Finnish black metal band. We're talking about Shadow's Mortuary and the album Unohdettu. Yeah, this album's fantastic, it really is. I do love how they overutilize the orchestral elements that build throughout this album. Very atmospheric in tone, and not to mention the guitar. I love the tremolo pickings and the guitar work on this. Love the vocals. The vocals are the main star on this album, and just really solid tracks overall. We've got track 3, which is one of my favorite songs. Atmospheric, dark, reminds you of Dark Funeral at times, just because the overall melodies, the overall layout, the overall songwriting, they make you feel exhilarated on this. They make you feel exhilarated, and it's just some great melodic black metal. Atmospheric at times, production's fantastic as well. Really good black metal. So next up is a band I have mentioned. It is Hissing Hypervirulence Architecture. Now this is a sort of a brutal death metal album, you could say. Really enjoy the guitar work on this and the thunderous percussion as well. If you like bands such as Fetid and even Suffering Hour with the doomy elements, along with Infernal Coil, you're gonna really enjoy this album. Pretty good brutal death metal. Hostile Absurdity, Operant Extinction is like 11 minutes long, so Intrusion, Identical Hunger. So there are some very good songs on this, quite technical at times, but yeah, harsh, aggressive vocals, really guttural vocals that will make your head turn, that's for sure. Hissing Hypervirulence Architecture is pretty gnarly and dirty death metal album on the elements of brutal. Okay, so next up is a band called Olhava and the album Reborn. I really do enjoy this album. Very juicy, melodic, long songs as well. This is black metal at its finest in my opinion. It's just really slow at times, but very aggressive in tone, very atmospheric. Like the production is really good. Some beautiful synth work that builds throughout this LP, and Reborn really showcase the elements of surprise along with some aggressive black metal and also along with some beautiful synths. Beautiful, even a dungeon synth track is presented on this album. Love the vocal work on this as well. I love the shrieks. But yeah, Reborn by Orhava is a must listen in 2022. Okay, so next up is a very interesting concept album talking about like a dystopian holocaust, like a global holocaust that is about to wreak planet Earth. We're talking about Koldkrypt and that album Holocauste Global. I love the overall concept of this album, and it's definitely talking about mankind's selfishness, and overall this is a very good atmospheric black metal album. And the lyrics on the other hand are really grim. This is a French black metal band, and Koldkrypt really harness in the listener with the beautiful technical melodies, and the drumming is fantastic. It's got that old school style black metal production as well, so you wouldn't think this album was released in June 2022, but it was. I just enjoy the overall layout, the overall concepts. Pretty long albums, run about 54 minutes. Track 1 is a friggin' banger, along with Divine Inquisition and Fungus to end off the album, which is like 15 minutes. Just really solid atmospheric melodic black metal. Okay, so we're talking about another Finnish black metal band. First we're Brazilian, then we're France, and now we're going to Finland again. 2 Finnish bands so far in the video. We got Pestilent Hex, the Ashen Abhorrence. This is great symphonic black metal, really do enjoy it. Love how there's an overall concept, beautiful melodies that really do get stuck in your head. Reminds me of Blodalsnord at times, especially in the early era of Blodalsnord. Great songs like Nature the Spirit, Old Hag and Banishment to really represent the symphonic metal. The melodies are evil in tone as well, and the production is phenomenal. Really enjoyed the production on this. This was released this month, being one of my favorite albums. I heard this in June and I thought, yeah, this was gonna make it into my best metal albums list for July. But unfortunately, Pestilent Hex, the Ashen Abhorrence is a really good album, but it's not one of my favorite albums of July, but it's still good. It's still good. The melodies are there. The songwriting's fantastic on this. It's long, it's juicy, it is fantastic. Check out Pestilent Hex, the Ashen Abhorrence. I sound a bit mean, but there have been a lot of good black metal albums this month. A lot of good black and death metal albums. But yeah, Pestilent Hex, the Ashen Abhorrence is fantastic. It's great. But there are other better black metal albums. So next up is a UK black metal band. We've got none other than Eihort, Consuming the Light. What can I say? This is just a brutal black metal album. It's fantastic, it's melodic, it's tuneful, and it's well calibrated as well. Production's fantastic. I really love how they utilize a lot of guitar work on this. It's just in your face black metal. Harsh and aggressive like Dead Cold Ice. Staring into Darkness is so damn good, along with Transmutation of the Mind. Really awesome guitar work on that. Oblivion. This was released later this month as well. Eihort, Consuming the Light is absolutely superb. So go check out Eihort, Consuming the Light. This UK black metal band really kicked goals on this. I believe this is their debut album. Okay, so next up is a Netherlands black metal band. We're going all over the place here. We're talking about Beenkerver and their album Ontaard. You like misanthropy, upon legends, myths, society, you're gonna really enjoy this LP. Yeah. First of all, this is probably one of the best album covers of the year at the moment. It is so damn good. I just really enjoy the background and the skeleton that looks like he's rising from the dead. It's one of the best album covers of the year. This is fantastic melodic black metal. The melodies are so damn eerie. This is a very evil sounding album, but the vocals are the main star on this. Track 2 is amazing. Mist is one of my favorite songs. I love how slow it starts and then it builds up and builds up. Bombastic blast beats. Really enjoy the fills on this LP as well. I believe this is also a one-man band. This is their debut album. The one-man band is called Beenkerver as well, hence the name of the band Beenkerver. Funny name, but holy crap. They are fantastic. Yeah, so check out Ontaard Beenkerver. It is really good black metal. Okay, so next up we're talking about, well, another Finnish band, Korpituli, and their album As Infinite Shadows of the Night Sky.
The secrets beyond stars, the magic of the old, celestial,
I don't know why I should have this a little bit higher, but Korpituli is definitely up there because this is a very enjoyable album. It's hard aggressive black metal at times, but there are some even doomier elements on this, especially great songs like Celestial Night Fires. Celestial Night Fires is so damn good. I love Celestial Night Fires, love the clean vocals as well. They do incorporate cleaner vocals on this LP and just great black metal in my opinion. I love the melodies that really do get stuck in your head. There are certain on-time signatures and it's quite progressive, but it's just enjoyable black metal with a bit of a cosmic feel. But it has some even elements of old school metal as well. Like, it's got some cool riffs. It's got some really awesome vocal layering. Korpituli and Infinite Shadows of the Night Sky is a grower. No doubt this album's gonna rise higher in my list of 2022 because it's one of the albums that I cannot stop playing. But yeah, Korpituli as Infinite Shadows of the Night Sky is sitting here. Definitely check out this album if you like weird black metal. Okay, we're going over across the pond now, Elseetoss, and their album Preagonal. Yeah, this is really good. This US band really kicked goals on this album. They were more post-metal in their debut album. Well, this time they really harness in the aggressive black metal. It's melodic, but it's also aggressive. Some really cool songs as well. They also incorporate doom metal on this, especially on track 4, which is really slow. There's some very enjoyable melodies that really do get stuck in your head. And the black metal vocals are the star on this. Yeah, so really good work by Elseetoss Preagonal, and it's just a fun ride, fun listen. It's a very different sounding album to their debut album, but Preagonal by Elseetoss, definitely check it out. Okay, so next up is an absolute banger. We're talking about death metal now. It's none other than Triumvir and the album Onslaught to Seraphim. Really good death metal. This US band really kicks goals on this LP. I've been waiting for this album for a few years now, and finally they've released an absolute banger. Some really hard-hitting guitar riffs along with just thunderous percussion. And not to mention the songwriting is really good. At times this is a very chaotic and in-your-face album, but it's also controlled chaos. It has a few avant-garde elements throughout this, and they really are good at crescendo. Like, Triumvir are very good at building songs. I will definitely talk more about Triumvir Onslaught to Seraphim in the next Discovery episode, but what can I say? It's one of the best death metal albums of the year so far. Okay, now we're moving across the pond again. Russia! That's right, Grima, and the album Frostbitten. Yeah, this is a fantastic album by Grima. Grima really don't make bad albums. Fantastic melodic black metal, atmospheric, more on the atmospheric side. But yeah, the melodies just really do get stuck in your head. Great songs like Giant's Eternal Sleep, which is absolutely phenomenal. Hunger God is fantastic. Winter Morning Tower, I feel it's probably better than their previous album, which was Rotting Garden, and even Primordial, even Will Primordial, I think that's what it's called. But yeah, this is one of their best albums by Grima, and I love every moment of it. It is just brilliant atmospheric black metal. Like Morbius and Vilheim are just so good at what they do. They talk about nature, they talk about paganism. Check out Grima Frostbitten. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. I've always loved Grima, and I love their style. I love how this album sounds very different to the other albums that they have made. This is a change for Grima, and it's for the best, because they utilize more synth work on this and more sort of aggression, you could say. But yeah, phenomenal. Okay, so next up is an international band we're talking about. We've got a bit of France, we've got a bit of Belgium, but you got these two individuals that make some terrific music. We got Deha, who has created 26 albums since 2018. We got Brulard, who was also a great musician as well. These two created just a beautiful atmospheric lo-fi production black metal album. And the melodies are so damn good on this. Initiation sounds like you're in a circus, a spiraling circus. Elevation is so damn good, and Infinity has some great guitar work. The vocals on this by Deha are just amazing. I love when he does black metal. I love his just high shrieks. He's so good at making black metal. And Transcending Rites is such a good album. It is one of my favorite black metal albums of the year. The melodies are just amazing. The songwriting is incredible. If you haven't heard Transcending, Worship of the Triumvirs yet, definitely check it out, because it is some tasty piece of it. Okay, so next up is a band I didn't think I would have, to be honest, in my best black and death metal albums vid ever. We got Belphegor, The Devils. Alright, so whoever's followed me for like 3 years, you will know that I am not a big fan of Belphegor. But this album is slightly different. This is a very different album by Belphegor. Now, Belphegor are a black and death metal band. This Austrian band really kicked goals on this album, and I was so surprised. I've heard this album a few times now, countless times actually, to be precise. This is one of my favorite albums of the year. It's just fantastic. Glorifizierung des Teufels. What a banger. It is so damn good. I love the choir work that is just building up throughout this song. The beautiful cleaner vocals on this, and how epic and majestic and even doomier this album feels that any Belphegor album has. Not a really big fan of Belphegor, but after this album, I definitely need to listen to all their other stuff. I've only heard a few Belphegor albums. I thought The Devils was a banger. It was so different, but it was just a breath of fresh air. It's just a great slab of black and death metal. It is experimental at times, but it works overall. Kingdom of Cold Flesh has such an awesome Egyptian melody, and dare I say, some of it reminds me of that death metal band Nile. I was coming in expecting to hate this, and I've come out of this album and loved it. Yeah, I love it when this happens. You know, you're expecting to come out from an album that you're going to absolutely hate, but then you turn out to love it. And this is one of my favorites. One of my favorites of the year, The Devils by Belphegor. Really enjoy the stuff. Love the harsher vocals on this, the gutturals at times. Really nice clean vocals throughout some of these songs, and some cool symphonic work. It's doomy, it's epic, and it's just a great slab of black and death metal. Belphegor, The Devils. Great album. So you've seen my favorite black metal album of those 2 months. Next up is my favorite death metal albums, and probably my favorite album I prefer out of all the other albums I've mentioned. It's none other than Maul and the album Seraphic Punishment. This is an album that Quest for Metal got me into. This is fantastic death metal, elements of doom metal. It focuses more on the death metal side, but you can tell there's a lot of death doom on this. Amazing riffs on this. The riffs are so damn crushingly hard. Great melodic breakdowns on this as well. The guitar work is fantastic. The vocals are just amazing. It just reminds me of times like Temple of Void, and even Hooded Menace, and even Cannibal Flesh. Like if they created an album together, it would sound like more Seraphic Punishment. Yeah, this is great. Like Seraphic Punishment, the self-titled, is so damn good. The cool riffs on it. Monarchy of the Mold, Buried in Reasons, amazing. Infatuation, Carrion Totem. This is just some gnarly death metal with elements of death doom. So yeah, Seraphic Punishment by Maul is my #1 death metal album of June and July. And I believe this is like their debut album. The riffs get stuck in your head. It's a beautiful piece of gnarly death metal. Fantastic. So yeah, that's my favorite black and death metal albums of June and July. Hope you did enjoy it. These are the albums you must hear in 2022. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what I missed and how crap this list was. I'm sure you guys will comment. Let me know your favorite death and black metal albums of the year so far, and I will see you in the next one.